What's up, Guardians? Welcome to DNA Weekly Strike, a Destiny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrick, and alongside me, as always, Joey Pease.
Hi.
Brian Anderson. We got a couple things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the raid. We ran the raid for the first time last week. But first, we're going to talk about the Kotaku story that came out about Destiny 2 and all these weird things that are kind of coming out of this Activision's... It's not an earnings call, but it's like a Bungie's updating Activision on their progress type thing. So we're going to talk about that first. Is that cool? Is that good with everybody?
No.
Okay. PC elitist. So Kotaku broke this story a couple days ago, and then IGN and Eurogamer also picked up this story where Destiny 2, which is currently unannounced for 2017, is coming to PC in addition to Xbox One and PS4. There are several sources to this. The first game was exclusive to consoles, much to the dismay of Destiny fans with beefy computers. Is that you, Joey?
I guess. I mean, I didn't know if I'd like it until after I played it, so I wouldn't say I was a fan before I played it.
But basically what they're saying in this article is that Bungie is working really hard on this. It's on a new engine, and they want it to feel like a completely different game to fix all the issues that people have with the first game. So how do you guys feel about Destiny feeling different? And that also means maybe not carrying your characters and gear over to Destiny 2.
I heard that, and I'm not... I mean, it's not going to bother me that much that it won't start out with like all my gear and stuff that I had. The only thing that'll bother me is if they don't have any of that progress from the first game over on the second game at all. Like they don't, like if they still have like the emblems and the shaders and stuff, I feel like you should be able to keep all the ones you had for that. So pretty much nothing that affects the actual gameplay, but just things that like people from, original Destiny will be like, oh hey, look, I've been playing for this long. There's something cool for me to show for being a longtime supporter of this game. But if they completely take away everything and just have everyone start fresh, I think that's kind of the bad way to do that.
What I could see them doing is just like if you played the first one and did like you beat all the raids or something, you could get a new emblem and a new one. They've done that in other games, Call of Duty, for instance.
Right.
If you prestiged in the first, like if you prestiged in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 or whatever, or 2, then you get like a certain one, or in Black Ops, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with everyone starting fresh. I think that's actually how they should do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
It would be easier to bring in new players though.
And I think that's what they need to do and then old ones who quit out,
mm-hmm.
Don't give these people a reason to not want to play it.
Right, because the people who quit feel like they're so far behind, there's no reason to come back and to catch up.
So there's going to be all new gear and stuff, and so I'm fine with them doing that. I hope they don't change it too much. I love the way it plays.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to change the way it plays. I mean
if
it's kind of tough to...
It's going to be like a Halo 2 to Halo 3 type jump where it's... The change is going to not feel very different. It's still going to feel like Destiny. It's still going to feel
It's still going to be a first-person shooter game. They're not going to completely change that. They can't.
It's not going to be a grid-based strategy game?
Yeah, it's not going to be a turn-based strategy game. It's not
going to be a puzzle game?
No.
Destiny Tetris?
It's not going to be the Halo Wars version of Destiny,
Mm-hmm. I'd still play it.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, like I understand they're doing this on a completely working from the ground up almost. It sounds like, because they were held back by the older consoles. Now they don't have to worry about those. They can make them run so as they want. And then even if they're including PC, they can start making it even stronger, I guess, for the PC people. But
yeah,
I mean, they don't even really need to do that. I mean, I think the game looks pretty nice as it is now. Yeah, and that's even like as they were like making it for the last gen consoles and these ones. So.
Yeah, Bungie's always been really good at like clean assets, even if they're not like the most graphically.
Well, I see in there that they're comparing it to the jump Blizzard made from Diablo to Diablo 2.
Yeah,
and if Destiny does something like that,
that's going to be awesome, ridiculous.
Because Diablo 2 to this day is still one of my favorite games of all time. And they did make a huge jump from the first Diablo to the second one, and they improved on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if you played the first Diablo, there was, 3 classes you could pick from?
It was rough.
And it was like literally you just went down this one dungeon to the bottom and beat Diablo.
Yeah.
And like that was it.
So if that's how they're comparing that, like Destiny 1 is like Diablo and Destiny 2 is going to be like Diablo 2, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like, it depends on how true that metaphor is. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bungie reported that they wanted Destiny 2 to feel like a true sequel, even if that means starting from scratch and leaving all content from the original game behind. Like you guys said, Kotaku sources compared the sequel jump from Blizzard made from Diablo to Diablo 2. In fact, one source told the outlet that Destiny 2 is a completely different game, noting that The Taken King was a reboot for Destiny 1 to fix the small things, and Destiny 2 will overhaul to fix big things. The sequel is rumored to have a new activity model, referring to as play-in destinations, which will make for planets to have more densely populated locations to explore and more interesting quests that will serve as an improvement over the patrol missions featured in the original game.
I don't think anyone likes doing patrol missions.
No, they suck.
Are you kidding? They're the best.
They're literally there just to give you some rep and glimmer. Like
you basically only do them if you have a quest.
Yeah, the only time you do them is if you need a quest.
And,
or,
there's literally 2 quests every week now that require you to do.
Now
it's one.
They have these new weekly bounties that are making you basically do patrols.
Yeah.
And they suck.
I'm only going to do that until I get the Thorn quest.
Yeah.
And then
well,
also
you do get 500 XP for your Vanguard.
I feel like I get that quicker just by doing
I don't know. That's a lot of XP, and like I said, once you get past 365, leveling up your factions, your Vanguard, your Crucible is really the best way to get gear. Is one of the good ways to get higher. That's how I'm at 375 right now.
Yeah.
It's mostly from
Faction
leveling
ramp
up
up.
the factions.
Yeah. So, the last thing before we get into the raid, how do you feel if Destiny was a completely different game than this one? Like, what if they wiped... You think they're going to wipe all the lore and stuff away from this, too? Or you think they're just... It really is just going to be a continuation of the story as a different Guardian?
I feel like that's a little extreme to completely wipe away all the story they have. I mean, it might not be like a solid foundation that they have, but they have interesting concepts in there, and it'd be really weird, especially if they plan on using the same enemies to just completely...
Wipe them out.
Wipe everything.
I think instead of wiping it, they should just build on it and actually do something. Do something with the Traveler.
Yes. They should
And
explain the Traveler.
What the fuck?
The Traveler, the Speaker, the Stranger, the Queen. The
you
Cabal.
have
Those
stuff
are
to
the
build
5
on.
huge things that we still have questions about within the game, let alone all the lore stuff that people would dive into.
I don't think they're going to need to redo the whole entire lore aspect of it. I feel like it's so open-ended right now that they really could go whatever way they wanted to anyway and not really step on their toes have some continuity errors in there. I think they'll be fine with that. So I don't think it'll be completely different lore-wise. I just think it'll be different gameplay-wise, menu-wise, all the things that everyone has problems with now. Trying to navigate your equipment and while someone's trying to take you somewhere else and it just completely closes out your game menu 6 times in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the big issue. Every time you're going to the tower and I'm in there messing around and then it closes me out and I'm still not at the tower. I'm like, come on. Just come on. So that was kind of the big story that came out this weekend. And it wouldn't really be a huge story except that there's a ton of sources from Bungie talking to Kotaku and IGN and all these things. So thought it was worth talking about. But now we're going to talk about the raid.
The raid. The Wrath of the Machine.
Before we get into specifics, thoughts on this raid?
Easiest raid they've ever put out.
Fun. It's fun. I don't know. I never really did any of the raids right when they first came out because I jumped into King's Fall probably 2 or 3 weeks after you guys had already been doing it.
That's the easiest raid I've ever done. Day 2, because we didn't do it the first night.
Right.
Have you been this prepared for a raid before though? Because you were
we were pretty prepared for King's Fall.
I was pretty prepared. Okay. I gotta say, for the Crota one, I feel like the raid was, I don't know, was it released right away?
Yeah, it was for that Friday.
Yeah, the raid for Crota was out right away, and that one I was not prepared for. Atheon, just because I never did a raid, was difficult for me at the time, and I didn't have. So yes, I probably was over prepared this time. I thought but even then, the mechanics felt very easy. There wasn't really anything that was like, oh my gosh, this is so difficult to figure out.
Right.
I think for us, the hardest thing we had was the Siege engine.
Yeah.
That's the thing we struggled with the most. And
Which,
really,
in theory, it should be like one of the easier parts.
Well, yeah, and watch tonight when we run it. Now that everyone, because we had guys in the 350s, we had guys in the very low 360s. I think when I was only at 368,
I was the second highest at 366.
I was the highest, I think at 368, and we were just having no problem doing damage.
Yeah.
Now I'm 375, and like we did get, like we could have beat the raid. But like it was late, and we were doing it Monday night. Yeah. We have people in our group who were
that first stage of that final boss was like, once we found.
Personally, I thought it, and I still think that it's very easy.
Yeah,
I really do. I think for a final boss now, and even in I know we didn't really get to try the second part of them, but I doubt that'll be difficult.
Yeah.
The first boss is like super easy.
There's no time limit on that.
I still think like the War Priest is harder than.
Yeah.
The bosses in King's Fall were way harder than these bosses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first boss was like. Once we found out the mechanic, we were like on a roll. That was easy, super easy.
I'm not saying that the raid isn't fun. Yeah. It is a lot of fun.
You can definitely tell that this raid was built in 7 months as opposed to 2 years. Because King's Fall was supposed to be the second raid released, in the overall Destiny, but then it got delayed and they cut that half of the game out.
Right.
So it ended up being the third. But that raid was built in like 2.5 years, where this one was built in 7 months because they delayed Destiny 2.
Well, this raid, if you want to compare it to another raid, Crota.
Yeah.
It's the one that you can compare it to where it's just boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Crota even had even Crota had more like puzzle stuff. You had that first part in Crota where you were in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider that a boss fight.
No.
And then the second part's the bridge. That's not really a boss fight.
I would compare the bridge to the Siege engine.
Yeah, I guess. But in this one, it's just like boss fight. Go to the next area, boss fight. There's never like, even in like King's Fall, you had the part with the pillars, and you had to open the door to get into the War Machine, or I don't know why I call it War Machine. The War Priest.
Because you were watching Iron Man 3 earlier.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I mean, that's kind of... They did give you loot at the end of that, so that kind of was like a boss-type thing in itself.
Since they consider the Siege engine a boss...
Yeah.
Then, yeah, but I kind of wish that... And as much as I hate jumping puzzles, like...
There is none.
There is none. You just kind of go to the next area.
I mean, the tiny bit of jumping there is, it's pretty simple.
It's not a jumping puzzle. Like,
plus, the reason why we were jumping is to get to the exotic chest.
Right. That's
to find the Siva clusters.
Yeah, so the chests were the only things that were kind of out of the way, and they weren't even that bad.
Yeah.
Well, and the monitors. Now that we know where they're.
Yeah. Now we're have to find the monitors.
We'll get those. But yeah, I mean, the raid was fun, but it seems very easy. It's definitely the easiest raid.
I feel like once we get it down, we could probably beat this raid in under an hour.
Well, I mean, like 45 the first team, like, people were beating it day one in like 2 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people were getting it done
like
in
how many raids have
2 hours.
How many raids have come out where you've seen people beat it day one in like less than 2 hours? People were 3-manning it in the first day of like. That just shows you that, we are, like, and the people who are doing that stuff, you can get over leveled for the normal if you put the time in and you saved your engrams and did it right. But it's still a good raid. It's just...
Yeah, it's fun. I'm not complaining at all. It's just, I feel like you could tell the raids that they had time to do it, and then you could tell that, like, Rise of Iron, the whole expansion was built in 8 months, and that they did not have the time to, like, I feel like there's some cool ideas in there. They just didn't have a lot of, like, room to flush out the in-between spots.
I mean, the raid isn't much harder than a Nightfall.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, hard mode and challenge mode could prove me wrong on that, but normal mode, not too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But still a lot of fun. I had a really good time running it.
Yeah. It's always fun when you get a new raid to run it the first time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's something even with like getting a new strike. Like, new strikes are fun to run.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one with the ogre is pretty damn annoying.
I don't know. I actually kind of enjoyed that one.
It is pretty annoying.
I thought that one was good.
It's just annoying because the ogre's always chasing me. I don't like it. And if you stop for like 5 seconds, if you stop at all, you're screwed.
The ogres, when the ogre's chasing me, the only problem I have is when the boss that you're actually supposed to kill starts shooting at me while the ogre's chasing me, and it's like I can't dodge his attacks while also trying to fly over the ogre. Like and then I end up dying because the ogre ends up hitting me or something, and that's just a pain. But like the ogre's real easy to dodge, I think. I mean, you just jump up high enough and he can't hit you.
Yeah.
He even like pushes you out of the way sometimes. At least I know when you as a warlock with the glide, if you start gliding and he like runs into you, you'll literally get pushed further than you could even like fly yourself. So
yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna try again tonight. We're probably gonna beat it tonight. I feel like we got a better handle on everything.
There's no way we don't beat it.
The only part we really don't know how to do yet is that final boss, which I still haven't looked anything up about it.
No, and that's how we were kind of running all of them. We didn't look stuff up, and then I know on the one we had to because we were stuck on it for a while, and we didn't know about them shooting the monitor.
yeah.
And then once we had that, I think we beat it very quickly afterwards. So
yeah. Okay, so the last thing I kind of want to talk about before we get out of here is Destiny's secret Outbreak Prime weapon has been found and is the game's most complicated quest. Dado posted this. He's
very, very
a popular
good
Twitch streamer, if you don't know who he
very
is.
Very good player.
It is a very, very, very long quest, but it starts when you find the 5 monitors within the raid.
Yep.
And Outbreak Prime was the exotic pulse rifle you guys saw in the trailers. Kind of has almost like a wolf head round effect, similar to
shoots
to
off
Gallahorn.
but it's
If you-
Siva stuff.
Yeah, and it only happens if you get a headshot.
Oh yeah.
It drops at 390,
Which is great.
yeah. And what do you guys think about this weapon?
The weapon itself looks amazing, and I'm glad that finally there's a quest in there that because this quest is going to be. I looked up all the steps. It's long. There's a lot of steps. You got to figure out. I think the Sleeper Simulant had something similar where you had to figure out like codes.
Yeah.
This has that stuff, but but the weapon itself looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then the 390 drop is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it takes very, very long, and the steps are very confusing. I don't know how anyone figured out. There's one point where you're in the diamond room before the boss, which I know we went in there and we were looking around. There's a bunch of canisters, and there's like a code that like you have to figure out, or someone figured out, to which ones you have to jump onto to open up the diamond. It's really freaking insane.
Yeah. So I think we're going to try to do that as well tonight.
Yeah.
That first part. So that's going to be interesting. Joey, what do you think about this weapon?
It looks cool.
Joey's going to infuse it.
Joey's like, no Hawk Moon, no sail.
I'd say I'll try it out for a little bit, and if I don't like it, it'll be infused into one of my hand cannons.
It's similar to my favorite type of pulse rifle.
It's a hawk saw type, right?
It's a hawk saw, grass type,
Yeah.
low impact, high rate of fire, good stability, it looks like, and decent range. I could see people using it in the Crucible, but if you have a grasp and stuff, you're not going to use this.
I'd say then again, I started using pulse rifles in Crucible a little bit, so we'll see. Maybe
I do think pulses are the best.
Maybe I'll hold on to it and use it.
390, that's great. If you could always infuse and then probably repurchase if you don't, because 385 I thought was max light.
Yeah.
So that's probably gonna be the only 390 in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful if you do infuse. Choose wisely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep mine at 390.
Yeah.
I mean, you could always go back and get another one with a second character.
Yeah, it's true.
You make a valid point.
So we might, if we
we'll
get to the
see
point
how
where we're
bad-
able to run the raid quickly, we might have to go
Well,
back.
the problem
to
is you need, and we are lucky we have the correct setup.
Warlock, Titan, Hunter. You need one of each.
You need one of each. Once you beat it and you get the next part of the quest, you have to complete a nightfall and patrols, and you have to be in a fire team of a Titan, Hunter, Warlock, and that's due to the codes when you get the Siva things. Each one has a different one. It's a different code for each class, I believe, and then you have to give your code to the other people. It's pretty intense. The guys who figured this out are just way smarter and better than I will ever be at these games or have the time to put in.
And they had the resources, because what I was reading about some of this when people were first trying to figure it out when they had the different codes, you have to have like so many different people that have the same codes but just the different part missing from each of their different codes. And once you have the right people with the right like codes and the right setup, you can figure it out in the net. You can just decode everyone's. So it was like you had to get all those people in the community together in a specific way to get these codes to be broken down to be able to figure it out.
This is just such an insane quest.
Yeah.
Like,
like you would never be able, you couldn't do it by yourself.
could
You
not
had
do
to have a
this by
community
yourself.
of people to do this. So
Yeah.
which I think is cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad we can all kind of do this together too. It's gonna be interesting. So I'm excited for this new weapon though. I might try it out. I'm not a big pulse rifle guy, but
Yeah, no, I am.
I like to try things out, except for hand cannons. I'll leave those to Joey. So
2 in the head, 1 in the body, they're dead.
yeah,
Actually, 1 in the head, 2 in the body.
I'll
usually
just
they're
stick
dead.
with my scouts for
Yeah.
PvE. That's definitely my favorite.
Oh, and for PvE, just 1 shot and they're usually dead.
Joey.
Crucible, give me a pulse and a sniper. Maybe that shotgun I got though. I do like.
You hate shotguns. You're
Not
But
that
he got a
one.
good one.
You're gonna use it for like a.
It's like the sniper of shotguns.
Yeah, it's got hammer forged and rangefinder on a Matador.
Matador 64. I use that weapon a lot. In year
I do have
one.
to say I am a little disappointed with this DLC with the weapons. I mean, at first I thought it was cool, but they basically just brought back year ones.
Yeah.
That's like what they did.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Iron Banner and Trials too.
Well, they have new stuff. I know.
Yeah, but you can also get the old stuff.
Yeah, I know.
They're bringing year 1 and 2 forward.
I was checking out some of the Trials.
Not Trials, but Iron Banner.
I was checking out the Trials weapons and stuff, and really I think the Pulse looked good. I think the Pulse was, but everything else was just kind of whatever.
Yeah. What do you got? How do you guys feel about Rise of Iron as a whole? Like, because we've played enough of it now to get the feel of it and know kind of what's going on with this expansion and kind of.
I mean, it's fun, but I mean, I'll be done with it after, next month probably.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it depends when the hard mode raid comes out. I'll say that'll probably be all I log on to do after I finish everything in the book that I can. Like, I'll probably literally just get on to do the raid once a week, and then that'll be done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know you. I mean, Brian will play Crucible.
I
so
have
he's got
to
more,
agree
but-
with Joey. Like I will play like Trials and stuff, and like I'll play Banner, but this really, it's fun, but there's really not a lot of content with it, and I can see why people are upset about how much they paid for it, and I know a lot of people dropped off before this, and even if they came back, if they're not like hardcore, they'll just play it for a little bit, and then they're all going to drop off again.
Yeah. Because I think that really the big draw for this expansion was the raid. And there's a lot of people that don't have people to raid with. So, like, what do you do after the campaign and, like, the quest lines?
Nothing.
Nothing, really.
Well, it's not like you can do Archon Forge. That shit's broken.
Yeah. They
I
need
know
to fix that.
They're working on it. They have to be. I mean,
they got to increase the drop rate of SIVA offerings. I'm not saying that everyone should drop a SIVA offering,
but yeah.
But it's if you're in an Archon Forge with other people, and you do like 3 in a row,
I think it should be guaranteed one.
One
every
should
3.
at least have
one
fucking
every
dropped.
3. I think so. If you have a fire team, you should.
So
be
if you
able to
have a fire team, you
continuously
should be able
do
to
it.
continually keep doing it, and like because Court of Oryx, you could literally just keep running Court. Like it was so easy to get.
Well, those runes stacked, so you would get the
Right.
the white ones all over the place from doing random
I think
things. You
that's
didn't
the
even-
issue with the SIVA offerings. I don't think like maybe the perfected ones shouldn't stack, but your greens and blues I think should stack.
Even if they don't make them stack, let you pick up more than one. Like,
Well, I'll be honest with you. Like I'll hold on to one for a while until like I'm with the right people to do it because I have a perfected one right now, and I'm not getting other ones. I'm not like ever running one over and it's like, oh, it's a SIVA offering. Shit, I can't pick it up. That's not happening.
They don't drop.
They don't drop enough.
Yeah.
I don't think they drop at all if you have one.
Oh, you might be right.
Because I've never seen one on the ground saying you can't pick it up because you have one. I've seen the splicer keys drop like
Yeah,
that.
the splicer keys.
But
drop
I've
like crazy.
never seen another.
I think
offering
if you
like
kill
that.
a brood mother, you should have a chance of getting a SIVA offering.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. I kind of feel like this expansion's... It's definitely not a Taken King size expansion. Not that I was expecting that. Just based on price point alone, I thought 30 was... Like, it told you that I wasn't going to be as big as Taken King. I did think that there was going to be a little bit more than this, though.
This is kind of
And
what I
maybe-
expected.
And maybe there will be later down the road. Maybe they'll drop some quests in October, November. I mean, besides what they're already guaranteed, like Festival of Lost and Crimson Days and Sparrow Racing, like maybe they'll drop something in November.
I don't think so.
But
I think to sum it up, Rise of Iron is fun, but we're all ready for Destiny 2.
yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for 2. I wonder if they're going to do another April update, or if they're just going to be like, look, this is the content you're getting. We're full steam ahead on Destiny 2.
I think they should just go full steam ahead on Destiny 2.
And we're glad you played this game the first 3 years. And if you're done in October, then you're done in October. If you're done in December, then you're done in December. If you're done in June, then you're done in June.
Yeah.
So, but I think we're going to wrap this up. This was a little bit short show. We will answer some of your questions next week. We just got a lot of stuff to get done today. So thank you so much for joining us on DNA Weekly Strike. Remember, you can find the show every Thursday on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, and YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook, like us on Twitter. I think I did that backwards, so that's okay. I think that's it. So until next week, we're out.
Good hunting, Guardians.